Well, hello guys, and welcome back. This is again not Lokean Gaming. We're going into God of the Day. Full disclosure, I'm kind of being pushed for this rather hard. So, Goddess of the Day is the Morrigan. Yay! We're not going to go too much into her lore because there's 9 billion resources. But we do not have the typical relationship you have with the Morrigan, and I'll tell you that right now. And you're going to be hearing a very, very bad Irish accent in this video, but I used to do a character called Pirate Captain Foxy, and I swear that has relevance here. She decided she liked that accent just fine. I didn't even know it was supposed to sound Irish. It was just a random pirate accent. And she decides that that's the accent for her, so she picked that up. But she's always had that accent. We got into the Morrigan, don't you worry. Um, I grew up in a household where my mother was absolutely in love with Ireland. Now, the Ireland we got to see in America mostly through 50s Hollywood movies, travel shows, everything else, romance novels. This very romantic Irish countryside where you'd go over there and you'd expect there to still be thatched cottages and leprechauns and people milking the cow. Now, we know today that's not true. You can very easily discover all about modern Ireland. But it was this very, romanticized version of Ireland that had actually nothing to do with historical or actual Ireland, but she loved it. And she truly loved Ireland to the point where we used to think she was Irish. Because Irish everything for her. Irish everything. And St. Patrick's Day, you wouldn't believe. Not St. Patrick's so much, but Ireland. And so I grew up with that very kind of 1950s quaint view, even though I knew better because we had cable and that back then. And somehow the Morrigan, in her many travels, must have picked up on this and said, "Oh, here's a good one." And she came dancing into my life at some point. I can't tell you when, but it was before I got on the interwebs and got to see all I got to see. And she would start a relationship and then she'd be coy and she'd go away. And this girl would come over and then she'd go away and she'd be very coy. So I never thought she was very, very serious. And you'd be reading articles in Llewellyn and whatnot about the Phantom Queen, and this is all well and good, and you'd be reading the lore. And at the time, witches, goddess bless us, pushed the goddess to the point where you could throw up. And the Morrigan was part of that, so I wanted none of her. And then, flash forward, you get on the internet, and the Morrigan is everywhere. And she decided her new tack was to be aggravating. She's been coming in and out of my life for decades. And she usually likes to come in and stir things up, but because she wants something I have as yet to give her. She always wants an altar for herself, and she wants a statue, and she can think of more things she wants, but this is what she wants for now. And she has had an altar and the best I can do for a statue, but the thing is, she always does the same thing every time. She picks property that's already owned. The first time she did it with the Baron. And she goes, "Oh, just put me over here. I won't be any problem. Just put me over here." And she must have charmed the Baron. And he's like, "Oh yes, yes, put her over here. I'll get along with her." And she's not there for 5 minutes before she comes over and she goes, "Oh, thank you. I hope you know, I feel like your mother, so I've got to tell you. That one's a layabout." What? He's a layabout, he's lazy. You're not in any sort of relationship, are you? You should kick him out. If it's marriage you'd be looking for, I can find you a nice Irish husband. Mother, stop. But he's lazy and I think he's stupid as well. Mother, stop. And she would just keep up this kind of nonsense, and she would shake his altar and she would scream, and yes, this was real, no, I wasn't on drugs. And she was trying to take over. And it seemed like she was attacking him and he was getting the worst of it. Because the Baron, I think he will fight to defend his territory, but he's really not going to hit a woman. It's not quite in him, at least not the Baron I work with. And she took full advantage of that. If she knows a god has any kind of gentleman in him and will be at loath to hit a woman, she'll really put the wind up him. So she got kicked out after a while because she was just causing problems and eating Pop-Tarts, and that was another thing she was doing. You see, all these articles would tell you about having to learn Gaelic, even though a lot of modern people that are Irish living in Ireland can't speak it because the language was forbidden for a long time. And they'll tell you about doing this and that, and you must be in this order and that order, and she wasn't having none of it. What she likes here is all the improper American food she can't have. And I'd say, Mom, you can't have that. But I love me Pop-Tarts. They're ancient Irish food. They are. Mother, they are not. Yes, they are. You don't care about me. But we had a food just like this, and I used to eat it on the battlefield. You you don't love me because I'm a war goddess. I'll go away. Mother, fine, here, have some. And you'll get this mental image of this happy little crow doing a little two-step on your shoulder, at least I do. I know how daft this sounds if you work with a more dark form, but mine plays the mother to the hilt, and I mean to the hilt. She'll come in and she'll go, that one's stupid, and that one's lazy, and that one's a loggerlout, Mother. And that one's on the dole, Mother. And no one in Ireland ever had that accent. We just didn't know any better in America. Oh, you're ashamed of being Irish? I'm not even remotely Irish. Yes, you are. You've just forgotten. No, look. You're living in Ireland, and Mother, this is America. This is Ireland. This is America! This is Ireland. You've lost your identity. Well, get it back. The first thing you need to do is get rid of all these others, 'cause they're no good for you. Can't you see that? And then you go out and you get Mommy a nice statue because I'm your mother and I love you. Mother, no. Or another conversation we'll have is, Mom, put that down. But he wasn't using it, was he? Mother, it's not yours. But why? Because it's not yours, it belongs to him. But he's not using it. He could be, it's his, it doesn't belong to you, Mother. I'm just trying to help. Mother, it's not yours. Put it down. But I'm your mother, aren't I? And I know what's best for you, and you listen to me. This one, he's not the best for you. You put my altar right here. Mother, no. Why? Because he's my god, that's why. But he's no good for you, he's stupid, that's what he is, and he's daft as well. And she carries on this nonsense for, just about forever. And she aggravates them. She's especially having fun putting the wind up Odin lately and driving Loki absolutely frothing mouth insane. And being gentlemen, they're not going to attack her, certainly not in my presence, and they're going absolutely barmy. And then they come over and they're like looking at me to do something to drive her out. And she's just on another one of her campaigns. She's been on a campaign for years that she wants herself an altar and she wants herself a statue. And I said, Mom, I love you, but you're a pain in the ass. You're a typical mom. You're not getting a statue and you're not getting an altar. Because it's always, always, always something that belongs to someone else that she knows they love very deeply. But she wants that thing. I said, no, you can't have it. Why? Because it belongs to him. He's not using it. Angels and saints, Mother, you're going to be a dead crow. You don't love your mother, and don't you take a tone with me, young lady. I'll take any tone I want with you. What was that? And then she goes into menacing dark goddess mode. And she starts being very dramatic and warlike. And I'm so used to Odin, it doesn't quite work anymore, but she's been leaning on me very menacingly. And I told her, I tried to do a recording before this actually, I said, you know what? You get me a Morrigan statue handed to me. Matter of fact, Mom, let's make this a challenge for the Morrigan. You can do anything, can you? You have my nice Christian friends. Get me a Morrigan statue out of the blue and just hand it to me. And you can have that place you want for your altar, and you can have your statue, and you can have worship. I think she's foaming at the mouth, but I'll take my chances. Because it's Signora's altar she wants this time. She's always after the one she knows I have a good relationship with, so she's a bit that jealous, Mom. that thinks your friends are real shite, and she doesn't want them around you because they're all lager louts and they're all on the dole. And she's like that. She's like that, and she's always telling me I should come back to Ireland, and I just eye roll at her because, as far as I know, there's no Celtic blood whatsoever in the family. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is in the ancestral tree somewhere a little bit of everything and everyone, but she really lays it on thick. You would think I was like 100% Irish. I'm not even remotely. Or her other favorite trick is she forgets that Ireland and Scotland are not the same country. And she stalks in with the bagpipes and the banshees and Scotland the Brave and all of the romance of the Scottish countryside and the kilts and the war and, all the Scottish and Irish heroes. And Lou's actually easier to deal with. And if I can tell you Lou, of all the gods, is easier to deal with and more reasonable, that should be telling you something. I offered Lou a statue once. He looked at it, and remember, he's the god of whatever that he damn well pleases. He looked at it and he goes, "That's ugly, that's what that is. What am I supposed to be? I look fat. Oh, no offense meant, but I look fat. Look at me, those chubby little cheeks." Ha ha ha. And then he realizes how rude he's being because obviously it's an altar statue on somebody's altar, and he goes, "But I'm sure it's lovely, dear." And I'm like, you're rude. That's your problem. But I'm rude. I'm supposed to be. And that's the other thing the Morrigan will start with me. I know you're getting all these deep religious teachings on this channel, but basically our relationship isn't a working one. It's just she comes in, she puts the wind up me, and she starts trouble, and she has decided that Lou would make a fine husband for me. Lou wants none of it, but she's decided that Lou is going to be my husband, and I can get rid of anyone else. I can especially get rid of Odin because he's got a face like a dog, and I can get rid of Loki because he smells like cheese, or whatever random insult she can pull from whatever random movie. She absolutely adores with me getting everything she's not supposed to have. She'll take her Irish tea, and she'll take her pudding, and she'll take her soda bread, and she'll take all the fine Irish stuff you can throw at her. But she absolutely adores the forbidden foods like the Pop-Tarts and the hamburgers and the cheeseburgers and all this revolting stuff that people will scream, "Don't you dare!" offer her. She loves it. She loves it. She can't get enough of it. She'll be in it up to her eyebrows. She will. And she loves that really bad Irish accent we have over here in the movies. She's absolutely fascinated with it. And she will just look at it adoringly. And she loves that the whole of... Are we off the map then? No. She loves that the whole of making something Irish over here is putting a shamrock on it. If we want to make a cup Irish, it's white and it has a shamrock on it. If we want a shamrock shake, damn if it isn't green. And I'm like, that's not even the complete Irish flag, but there you go. If you want to make something Irish for St. Patrick's Day, it's something random, and she adores it because it has damn well nothing to do with Ireland, and she loves that. The more kitsch, the better. Those tacky leprechauns we have over here that have nothing to do with actual leprechauns, she loves it. She eats it up. She would have the most kitsch altar she could out of me. She used to have a crow for years. She used to have a crow, and then it got a bit mangled looking. Maybe, the death goddess aspect or the war goddess aspect played with it. I get the idea she does play with her stuff. Like a crow will play with things, she will play with her stuff. And she's showing me, in my mind's eye, she's been showing me for years, a statue that just does not exist. I know it doesn't exist. It's like this thing. But I said, if as I said in this recording, if she can get me a statue, if she can get it given to me, then fine, she can have it. Why not? But she likes to be a pain and come in and tease and torment me because I don't think she's serious about the altar. I think that's why she always asks for stuff that she knows she can't have, like somebody else's altar. And she like I said, she comes in and she annoys the boys and she causes trouble. And she gets fed for a while and she encamps and she will make up stories about wars that never happened, and she looks very heroic in them. And, she will start telling you all sorts of twee nonsense about fairies in Ireland and finding pots of gold, and this is why you should work, some kind of Celtic brand of magic and all this other nonsense, and how the Irish gods are the best gods, and, You know, you really should go back to listen to that thing you were listening to by the Bard or Ovi. It's just something, something. And you know who's a good god for you, Lou? And that's the entirety of our relationship for the last couple years. Her just coming in and being annoying. She can't help you with magic. If she's being more serious, she can't help you with magic. She can obviously help you through grieving. I've seen people with mental health issues working with her to try to work through that, but she's not light. She takes a very heavy hand with them. And that was part of it too, why I didn't want to work with her. I'm like, Odin and Loki take enough of a heavy hand. I don't need any more. And she will take a heavy hand with people, and she's just, yes, dearest mother, she's associated with wolves, with crows, though she's a raven, just to put the wind up Odin. Eels, heifers, anything she wants. She'll show me horses, she'll show me bagpipes, she'll show you whatever she wants. So she can shapeshift. She can work really anything. Some people will focus in more on that seductress aspect or anything sexual they can read out of her lore. They'll focus in on that. I would say be careful, in that if you start focusing in on only one thing of the Morrigan, she'll usually, in my experience, blindside you with something else. I was focusing on the idea of her being this clever kind of like trickster culture hero, and I mean no insult by that. And so she just came over and she's annoying. And I know she's being annoying and edging her way to something because she's told me this. She's, in her own way, she's trying to teach me to fight. And, when you focus on one thing, when your attention's over here, she'll be back behind you, setting up an attack. So just do be aware of that. She's not bad, she's not dangerous, but she's called the Phantom Queen for a reason. She'll do whatever she has to get your attention. She's been leaning on me very heavily. I've been feeling like I've been being watched. We had an uptick in the crows, but again, those are for Loki or Odin, but she especially delights in using something she knows will confuse you for a while, because she likes to leave it up to interpretation. But eventually she'll get bored of playing games with you, and she'll make it pretty clear. She'll be like, yeah, it's the Morrigan. How many more damn crows and cows do I have to throw at you, woman? And, she'll feel like that. She'll be very forthright. You usually know if it's the Morrigan. She can be very big and very loud, and you know it's her. With me, I'm lucky. I got that kind of more gentle, laid-back aspect that she can be ferocious and a little scary, but she can also be that almost borderline ditzy mom that, she's gonna bake you cookies and shit. That's her favorite phrase now. She picked that up over here somewhere, and she loves this. And, she loves, with me, she loves getting into the forbidden things. The more American they are, the possible. And it's not like the Morrigan fell in love with America. It's forbidden to her. There's so many sites you can go on that'll tell you it has to be purely Irish, it has to be purely this. So if she's coming to you in Russia, don't be surprised if she wants everything Russian. And if she's coming to you in Puerto Rico, don't be surprised. They usually want what they're not allowed to have. Any god or goddess is like that. So she's very much like that with me, which is why she's always after an altar she knows she damn well shouldn't be having. It's that forbidden fruit thing. And if she wants a thing, she wants that thing, and she is relentless. She will get it out of you one way or another. So I hope that helped, guys. I keep hearing these weird things. I must be hearing them in the game, or there's a whole something going on outside. But, she really is good to work with. It's just, she can be a bit aggravating. She'll find that one thing that she knows gets on your nerves, and she will work that thing. Because the Morrigan. And she'll find your greatest fears sometimes, and that has to be in here. She'll exploit those, and she can kind of lead you through the dark forest. So you see a lot of people that are talking about the Morrigan, she's leading them through dark work. Yeah, that's something she's famous for. But she can do healing that way. She's known as a threefold goddess, not so much triple goddess in the Wiccan sense, but these three goddesses are connected. I'm not even going to imagine that I can say any of the names properly or that I understand the complete history. You guys know stroke, so as much as I learn, it goes back out of my head right as soon as I learned it. But, she's good with that. She's patient with that. If the other two ladies want to show up in my life, I'm sure they will. I will tell you that Irish goddesses and gods are not shy, not in the least. They're usually very forthright, though I do tend to, I've noticed, attract the death goddesses and the trickster gods, so, um, she is good to work with. I do love her. She just doesn't have the altar because she's a bit of a troublemaker with me. And, just when you think she's getting serious and she's saying, okay, okay, fun's over. This is what I want to do with you. I want to do this deep healing work. I want to do, um, expand your horizons, or I want you to learn Gaily or something. She'll never tell me. She'll never tell me. That's why we've never progressed. Right now, honestly, I know she's here for a video and then she'll be gone again, but that's okay. She's Mommy Crow. We don't have to spend much time together for us to have a good relationship. And I think maybe she's coming around to the idea I have now that with some gods and goddesses, we make good friends, but we don't make anything else. So I think she's borderline ready to admit that maybe she's not the best one for me to work with because it's nothing personal against her. It's just you're either suited to her down to the ground or you're not. And we can have these conflicts because we're both very willful and we're both very stubborn and we're both very relentless and we both tend to grab onto a thing and do things our way. And surprisingly, that does not always work well when you put it together. So I do love her and respect her and she'll always be Mommy Crow, but she's not a goddess I work with often. She's not a goddess that I have that deep, decades-old relationship with. I've known her over the decades, but she dances in, she dances out, she causes problems, she starts a fight, even with herself. Then she's gone. So, today's campaign for a statue in her own corner will be dropped tomorrow. She won't even remember. She'll just want one more feed. Give me one more bit of food, this delicious American food, that more horrible the better, that I can't have and I'm not allowed to have. Give me this and then I'll go. And she'll go. So, if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. I know that was more unusual. I usually talk more, centrally on a god or goddess, but we have that kind of relationship where she kind of comes in, she stirs things up, she renews her campaign for working with me. And yet, when I finally go, okay, I'll work with you, she's not interested. So, what can I tell you, the Morrigan? I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.